What I'm doing today is I'm doing an old school bread and butter pudding. You don't see it much anymore. I see it a bit in England. When I'm over there, it's still something they serve quite often. So one thing it is great for, it's fantastic for the whole wastage side of things. Generally in kitchens, you always have bread left over in some form. And you can use all sorts of different bread. You can make bread specifically for a bread and butter pudding, or you can use, you can use croissants, you can use pain au chocolats left over, something like those. They're fantastic in there because they've already got that chocolatey element in there. So we're going to start with some golden raisins. Put those in the pan. To rehydrate those, I'm going to use sweet wine, dessert wine, sauterne, anything like that. Basically all we're going to do is bloom those. So really, same sort of technique as blooming gelatine, which you did the other day. You're putting it in water and liquid and allowing it to expand and rehydrate again. And that's all you really want to achieve with the golden raisins there. So I'll leave that ticking away. I'm going to make our custard base, if you like. So we have 2 eggs, 3 egg yolks. We have milk, and also cream, and a little bit of sugar. And we're just going to whisk that together. And then we also have our coffee liqueur. So just whisking that together. We're also going to butter the outside of these moulds. So I've got just a little bit of softened butter here. And I'm just going to go around the outside. Okay, then we're going to sugar them. So we'll just work it around the outside like that. It's much the same as buttering a souffle mould, I guess. Tap the excess sugar out because you don't want a whole lot of sugar in there. Now you can imagine when these are baking in the oven, what's going to happen to that sugar around the outside. It's going to create a little bit of non-stick thing on the outside. Also, it's going to slightly caramelise so you get a nice flavour through there. Okay, so we've got quite a varying degree of bread here. I've got a big old loaf. This is a brioche loaf. We've got a couple of little brioche buns. I've got a couple of croissants. The key to these is really not to put too much bread in them as well. You just want the right amount of bread relative to the right amount of custard. We'll cut up some of this bread. So I'm going to cut it really nice and thin. And I'll take that into 4 like that. And I'm going to use 4 pieces just on the base of each one. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So lining that base, and we're just going to sort of push it in there a little bit as well, quite forcefully, just push it right down into the bottom.
Is the theory that you use stale bread in a bread and butter pudding a done thing, or can you use fresh as well? Or?
Because you're going to rehydrate the whole dish with the custard, it means that you can use pretty much any bread. Dirty old crusty dried up bit of toast, probably not going to cut it. But older bread that's just slightly stale or something like that is really still going to be nice in this. Once I've got the first little layer in there, I'll add my little layer of raisins, which have just started to sort of rehydrate and bloom up to a nice size. Next layer, just take some croissant, and you can literally break it up and tear it and put it in there. It doesn't matter too much that I just sort of break it up in there. So the next layer again, you go back to your golden raisins, and then for the top, we've got these nice little round ones, and again, cut them nice and thin, so balance them back up in their nice little pile. And I'll just take the bottom off so I can fan them around there a little bit better. So we'll put 1, 2, 3, and interlap 4 in there for our little top. Okay, push it down a little bit. First thing we're going to do is put our custard in. Generally what you do it twice, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it up. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. And the reason why we do that is because it takes a little bit of time to actually soak it up. Okay, so we'll fill it up a certain amount like that. You can give it a little bit more of a press down to see you've got the right amount in there. Just make sure all your bread's covered. So I'll just top them up. Make sure I've got plenty of custard in there. A few more raisins on top. Then we've got some slivered almonds. Plenty of those all over the top as well. But still just leaving a little bit of room in there so that you can actually see the bread. And then we're going to bake them in the oven. First thing we need is a little cloth to go on the base of the tray to provide a break between the metal and the base of these. The base is always the part that gets the most heat because it's conduction. So you want to just, raise them with a cloth between it. It's almost like the little brulees are just floating in the water. So we'll put those 3 in there. Now I've turned my oven to about 160, and they do take a while to cook. They take between 35 and 40 minutes. So straight in the bottom with your water, about a third full. Okay, and we'll put those down in the oven. So my bread and butter puddings have been in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. So I'll take them out of the oven. Okay, so they're still nice and hot, nice and warm. So it looks pretty much nice and ready to go. I'm going to serve that with a nice little cream. We've got this nice double thickened cream, which is a great cream to use. It's quite dense already and quite heavy, which is great. I'm going to use a little bit of this Halala vanilla bean paste. Quite strong. A little bit of sugar. Orange zest, just zesting into the bowl here. And we'll also just finish with whisking a little bit of mascarpone to enrich it as well. To present, just on a simple plate like that, I think is all you need. Hot water is easier to deal with cream. Incidentally, with ice cream, I'd never use hot water. I always use cold water. I find it easier. We want a nice big quenelle. So nice mascarpone cream with orange and vanilla, and coffee liqueur, bread and butter pudding, done.